So many of you may wonder what the worst character passive is in the strongest battlegrounds. In my video about what the best character was in the strongest battlegrounds, I said the best passive was Genos. So what is the worst passive? So I will look at what the worst passive in the game is. Saitama's passive grants him extra ult charge, which is extremely useful for kill farming. Unlike most passives in the game, this passive takes effect in 1v1s, which is a huge advantage. Guru's passive is a heal, which I mentioned in my best character for teamers video that it was really good for teamers. However, besides fighting teamers, it doesn't have much use, as in 1v1s it serves no purpose. It's still a great passive nonetheless. Genos has two passives, which is what made me believe it had the best one. Genos's first passive is the custom evasive. The evasive damages people close to you once you use it, also stunning them. However, if the enemy doesn't get close to you and just quickly side dashes to attack, you won't be able to react, which renders the custom evasive useless. The second passive is the cooldown reset. It's pretty good for kill farming, but like Guru's passive, it's useless during 1v1s, though this passive is also good against teamers. However, since there are two passives, it's hard to say Genos' passives can be bad. Sonic used to have a good passive until the nerf. Sonic's old passive was extremely overpowered, as you could easily run, chase, or confuse the enemy with the teleport dash. The new Sonic passive only gives 3 teleport dashes, which is not much useful. Due to the lack of teleport dashes now, this is probably the worst passive in the game due to its limited use. The most it can be used for is dodging some random attack, which normal side dash can easily pull off. Sonic's weak passive definitely might be the worst in the game. Metal Bat's passive allows you to gain ultimate when you take damage. In my best character for teamers video, I mentioned how this passive was really good. And again, unlike most passives, this passive takes effect in a 1v1 scenario, and probably the best passive for 1v1. Requiring to take damage is a severe drawback for me, though. However, this passive is also really easy to exploit, since the enemy literally does it for you. Atomic Samurai's passive is not good since it's basically just a Genos passive, but it does worse at its purpose. Like Genos' passive, it's good for kill farming, however, does worse at it, because the 25% more damage isn't that strong. It would be good for a 1v1, but you need to get a kill for it, which is almost impossible while you're fighting someone else. It's better to just use Genos since its passive is superior to this one, and it's smoother to play. Tatsumaki's passive is really strong, as the shield can literally block some ultimate moves. The shield counters all base moves, so a spam blocker using Tatsumaki would be a literal nightmare. Not to mention how when you break the shield, you literally take damage and get blown back. Unless you use a projectile move like Blitz Shot or Foul Ball, then there's no way around the shield without being damaged. Luckily, the shield only activates when you're blocking, but the shield lasts forever until broken. You can also unblock and block to get the shield back, so it's hard to pressure someone with the Tatsumaki passive. The passive can also hit multiple people, as it literally does area damage. So what's the worst passive in the game? Well, the only two passives I believe are bad is Atomic Samurai's and Sonic's. Both passives are not good at serving their purpose. But which one is worse? First of all, let's look at Atomic Samurai. Atomic Samurai's passive sounds good, but it isn't. Just like Sonic, its passive was changed, and honestly, the change was a nerf. Atomic Samurai's old passive was better since it made way for extra damage in combos, and you could also get pretty creative with it. The new Atomic Samurai passive is still kind of good, but Genos' passive is superior to it when serving its purpose. However, Sonic's passive is terrible. I previously mentioned how Sonic's old passive was 10x better. The passive nerf was so bad it literally became the worst in the game, and can barely achieve any distance at all. I just don't see much things this passive can do, and the things it can do it barely can. So I believe the worst passive in the game has to be Sonic's due to the lack of things it can achieve. In the end, this is only an opinion, so feel free to argue in the comment section if you disagree. That's all, bye.